Hi folks, I'm Andy from BlackJack Legacy and you're watching This Week in Wargaming, the weekly show that creeps up behind you when you least expect it and screams new stuff in your ears. This week we take a look at a mini that could equally be both my favourite and the most batshit crazy mini ever. We become a fanatic about painting and we gear up for Halloween with a Duel of the Dead. But first up, I wanted to tell you about some of the highlights coming out of the interviews I did with the wonderful folks at Fanatic Games last week. I got the opportunity to go down and chat with them ahead of their 2023 open day and get the scoop on what's coming soon, and they didn't disappoint me. From their sci-fi worlds, we learned that there's new models coming for the Enforcer faction into both Firefight and Dead Zone, in the form of the Novashock Peacekeepers, the Demanta Sniper platform, plus the addition of phase claws for their Peacekeepers and Assault teams. The Enforcer models never really grabbed me when I first saw them, but after receiving them in the Firefight 2-player starter set, I actually realised how nice they were in the flesh, and now they're probably my favourite faction. Even bigger news was that we'll soon be seeing the Night Stalkers entering the Warpath world as the Maison Labs open up a void and, accidentally, let them through time and space. I can't wait to see how these minis look on round bases, and there's also a very impressive large model coming too, so watch out for that. Even better, they'll be coming to both Firefight and Dead Zone, so lots to look forward to there. Even more sci-fi news was the announcement that Warpath, Fanatic's epic-scaled sci-fi game, will be coming to Kickstarter in Q1 next year, to see the production of the game with hard plastics. You can sign up to be notified about the Kickstarter from the link in this video description, so we'll be covering that more closely as more news comes out of Fanatic HQ. Moving over to their fantasy world, we learned that the next army to get the Fanatic Glow Up treatment is Trident Realms, and we saw a couple of renders for some new minis which look great. These were just a flavour of the stuff I got to chat with the team about, so head over to Fanatic's own YouTube channel to see the interviews that I did with them in full. This week sees the launch of the latest Kickstarter by the hugely talented Alex Huntley at Warp Miniatures, bringing an amazing looking new 2-player starter set for his game Ark World called Duel of the Dead. This set will feature 2 brand new factions to the Ark World range called the Vampires and the Ancient Dead, and this coincides with Ark World's 10th anniversary. Happy birthday, Ark World! For those new to Warp Miniatures, Ark World is a 28mm fantasy skirmish game set in a world where warbands, heroes and monsters are pitted against each other in the field of combat. Warp produce a whole host of amazingly detailed miniatures to represent the many different characters and creatures in Ark World, and if you head over to their website, links in the description of this video, you'll find not only the rules for free, but also an entire print and play starter set to let you really try out the game for yourself. The minis have a real characterful feel to them, and creator and sculptor Alex has managed very successfully to adapt his own unique sculpting style from the originally hand-sculpted minis over to the now digitally sculpted ones without losing any of his flavour. I think this is another game that is criminally underrepresented in its online footprint, and I hope this latest Kickstarter and the noise it generates brings Ark World to a whole new audience. Warp Miniatures are one of those truly family-run businesses that you want to see do really well, so hop on over to their website to check out the amazing range of minis, and then dash over to their Kickstarter to make sure you don't miss out, as this one is only running for 1 week, from Thursday the 26th of October until Thursday the 2nd of November. As always, if you like what you see, tell them BlackJack sent you. Next we go skidding off the main road of miniatures into the side world of paints. Now what this hobby needs is more paints, is something I've never heard anyone say ever. But Army Painter feel that what they've created is worth shouting about, and after seeing it in their promotional videos, I'm inclined to agree. Army Painter will be launching a new range of paints in January next year called War Paint Fanatics range, and this will be 216 paints which have all been completely reformulated to give you both amazing coverage, all the while flowing beautifully. Bo, the founder of Army Painter, says that these paints will have 300 to 700% more pigment in them over their old range, which is why they cover phenomenally well with just 1 coat. However, he explains that with this comes a problem where the paint just doesn't flow well enough. Enter the boffins at Army Painter, who've developed a solution to this problem, and now they have what they claim themselves to be as close to the perfect paint as you can get. Now, seeing this in their video, I think it's genuinely something very exciting and could be the first time a new paint range has actually made me want to switch out from what I already use. Now, in practice, will they be quite as amazing as their video shows? Who knows, but at this stage, I've got no reason to doubt them. They've also come up with a neat idea where each colour comes in a block of 6 paints rather than the normal triad of 3. This gives the opportunity for each block to give you 4 different triads of colours rather than the usual 3, which I think for both beginners and pro painters will be extremely useful. You can get your hands on them early next year, and it seems like they'll begin to phase out the current war paints range in favour of these new ones over time. So we'll be watching with interest to see just how well these paints perform when mere mortals get their hands on them. Lastly, this week Games Workshop put their Cities of Sigmar range up for pre-order for Age of Sigmar with a new battle tome and a host of new models. Now, I've said this many times that I think Age of Sigmar and Necromunda get all of the cool, new, unusual models from Games Workshop, and with Warhammer 40k, they seem to play this a little bit safer, and this release is no different. Whilst I think these new models are amazingly well sculpted and unbelievably detailed, there is one model that stands out to me. The Fusel Major on Ogre Warhulk is both unbelievably amazing and absolutely nuts in equal measure. I love the fact that the Ogre is some kind of mobile watchtower with his very own crow's nest sniper, and I can't help but appreciate the creativity in this model. I love the colour choices they've gone with for this whole release, and it really brings to life that feeling of how the real people in the mortal realms band together to defend themselves from the many mystical and fantastical threats around them. We all like to get critical about Games Workshop from time to time, and as the big boy in the playground, they deserve the constructive comments as much as anyone, but when they get it right, they smash it out of the park. And with this one, I think it might actually be my favourite model that they've released in quite some time. Bravo GW, bravo. That's it for this week in Wargaming. Let me know what you think about the stuff I've covered here, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you're kept up to date with what's happening in the Wargaming world. See you next week, and happy hobbying.